Now, for the past 1 or 2 months, Nigeria has been posting increasing figures regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Lending credence to what analysts have said has been a blossoming of a third wave of the virus. The interventions by government, according to them, have been inadequate, despite repeated assurances, to the contrary, by the powers that be. Now, to have a discussion around Nigeria's response thus far to the pandemic, we're now being joined by a presidential aspirant and a president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa. And we look forward to getting some insights from you as we sort of delve into these matters. But before we jump into your presidential aspirations, sir, I'd just like to get your take on how you feel Nigeria has responded so far to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, there are a couple of things which you can mark Nigeria down on, so many things. But I think in response to COVID, I think they've done well. They've done better than the average. I mean, they've done as well as you will hope that most countries in Africa did, especially in staying on the message. They've stayed on the message from day one to now. They've not played around with the severity of the disease and its persistence, and the fact that it's not something that will just disappear overnight. From the task force to now, they have remained on message. That I give them kudos.
What about access to vaccine?
Of course, there are other areas.
Testing, yeah.
There are other areas who have not done well. I mean, look at the percentage of people that have been vaccinated. Less than 2% of the population. That is absolutely dismal, if I can use those two negatives. So they haven't done well. And our dependence on just waiting for COVAX or some third party to donate vaccines to us is also not the best. Of course, we know that we were never prepared for this in terms of availability of local protective garments, even from the days of nose mask till lately. So, but in that area, we should be preparing for the next pandemic.
Good, yeah.
For this one, we haven't done well enough in preparation. But in terms of staying on message, in terms of passing the information, in terms of giving information to Nigerians, they've done very, very, very well. And of course, like I said, related to that, there has been some issue of the preparation for the next pandemic through what the CBN and a couple of other people are doing.
Exactly. And with this new variant out there, what can individuals, I know we put a lot of pressure on the government and our institutions to get the vaccines and encourage other people to get vaccines or even just live healthier lifestyles. What type of responsibilities should individuals take on themselves in order to combat these new variants?
I think that's the really appalling part of it, because despite government staying on the message, what you see is that there's so much cynicism and disbelief amongst many Nigerians. I'm going around wearing face mask and I'm like, I'm a masquerade. I'm the only one around. And they say, look, take this thing out. It's not going to exist here. Don't bring it here. That's the kind of thing they tell me. And but I've always insisted that I have a responsibility for myself. If you don't have a responsibility for yourself, that's okay. But for me, and Nigerians are saying it. Last night we were somewhere, we were reviewing some recent deaths of people. I don't know what they're waiting for. Are they waiting for their next of kin or somebody they can say died of COVID? I think that we're not doing well, I mean, as individuals, as communities. When you go outside Lagos, and even Lagos, certain parts of Lagos, I go to the market and everybody's just looking at me as if I was from another planet. I don't know why there's this level of disbelief. It's good that the mortality rate is low. I don't pray that it becomes high to frighten everybody. But I think we must keep talking about it. I mean, just like kind of focus you're giving it here, and other media outlets, the government is saying, we'll keep talking about it. Some people will need to take personal responsibility, because health is a personal responsibility. Right. It's not something you can franchise to somebody else. Government may help, communities may help, multilateral agencies may, but health is primary your responsibility. And I think Nigerians need to take their health more seriously than they're currently taking.
Okay, you said you gave the government kudos for their consistency in driving the message across, but some would say there's a contrast or even a contradiction in terms in that people are still going around as though there was nothing happening. And so maybe speak on that. Do you support people like the Bayelsa State, is it Bayelsa State governor, who is trying to do a vaccine mandate? He's always Edo State governor, who is trying to make sure that people have it compulsorily, or they are banned from going into public places. And then maybe also speak on why you think we're so behind. We're not even at the position South Africa are at, where we can speak of assembling our own vaccine here.
First and foremost, I think I support more determined effort. I'm sorry to say so, some people need motivation to be able to do what they ought to do. Right. That motivation could be fear or denial of something else, but it will force them to behave well. So I support that. You need to carry your certificate that you are vaccinated to get into some places, because the point is that if this world was just you alone living in your island, you can just do what you like, but you can't, because of your own, whatever your belief system, now endanger the lives of other people. So I think society needs to ask you to show that you are not a danger to others. And so I'll support anything that can vaccine mandate or carry your vaccination card or whatever to show that you're vaccinated. It's important. Otherwise, stay in your house, lock up yourself, and nobody will bother you. But if you come out to the common space, which belongs to all of us, you owe us some responsibility when there is evidence that this danger exists. The issue of how well have we done in terms of both getting the vaccines, and I said we haven't done well. And the reason we haven't done well was, there are many reasons. First is that we were not prepared. We didn't have foresight that we'll get to this kind of point. Maybe we did, but we didn't do anything, because as they say, we can't read the effort, we read results. So we didn't see that there was much done in preparation for a pandemic like this. Even though our response was quite quick, in taking all that the world was doing in and communicating to us. What else could they have done to get people to obey? I don't know what else they would have done. But what else would they have done to prevent maybe more people getting sick? First is that we will have made sure that our vaccine capability or capacity is improved. And the reason I say so is that we could do vaccines in this country. We did vaccines. You wouldn't believe it. In the 80s, 90s. In Yaba here, we were producing yellow fever vaccines. And then all that went moribund, and we lost both technology and facility. Government started some efforts to revive a couple of years ago. They went into some private-public partnership.
Oh, I'm going to have to give you a pause right there. We have to go to break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're still watching Newsday.
Thank you for staying with us on Newsday, and we still have Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa with us, presidential hopeful, as well as the president of the Pharmaceutical Society. I hope that's correct.
Right.
In Nigeria. Yeah. But we're going to move away from medical issues and go straight into your political aspirations, your presidential aspirations.
Thank you.
Now, why do you think you're the right man for the job amidst all the myriad of issues that are plaguing Nigeria? Why would you put yourself forward to be president of Nigeria at this time?
Yeah, I put myself forward because I've been in the system long in the country. I've been involved in several activities aimed at getting Nigeria to work, to be globally competitive and be a country that is at peace with itself, that can produce what it can eat and export to the international market. But it hasn't happened. And I've wondered, I've researched, I've written, I've ached. And I found that there are three things lacking. The level, the kind of leadership we've had at the top has been a major determinant to our national performance. Because for anybody to deal with the issue of Nigeria, it must be a leader who is visionary, who is completely enlightened, has a global perspective, who is self-sacrificing and self-motivating. We need a leader who has competence proven by what you have done, what have you started and finished, what are the legacies, and who is able to envision things and get them done. You need a leader who has character, integrity, and the ability to be believable. Thirdly, you need a leader who has courage to do the difficult things, to take the hard decisions, to look at your enemy on the face and tell him the truth, look at your friend and tell him the truth in love. You need a leader who is accommodating, who is perceptive, who is empathetic, who understands what it is to build a harmonious group, to turn a group into a team, turn a country into a nation. We've not had them in the right proportions. That's why it has not happened. People come to leadership in our country and they try their best, but you can see they have deficits in one of these three areas. I think somehow God has put all that in me, and I think that's the right thing. I should offer Nigeria the opportunity to come and solve this intractable problem of restoring our country to economic growth, taking us away from stagnation of 61 years to become a globally competitive country, perhaps to become a first world nation.
What do you say to those who say that you are, and permit me to say this, that you're above the 50-year bracket, and you're from the Southeast, that those might count against you? What do you say to them?
Well, what I would say to them is first about age is a matter of number. What we think for any leadership, it's somebody that has good body, good spirit, and has good soul. So body, spirit, and soul should be in the right proportions. We need experience. The work to be done here, with due regards to everybody else, is a job for experience. Experience in being able to interact and relate. You must know this country. In the last 1 year, the last 7 months, I've traversed the 36 states of Nigeria. I've been to them, where we're enthroning the new Nigeria group, which is our political movement. We have 36 chapters all over the country. I know Nigeria. I've been here for a long time. So my job is to lead, but I will need younger people to work with me. I will lead, and they will do the work. Mine is to envision, provide the resources, set the KPIs and the measurables, and then infuse them, motivate the young people to run. That's what leadership is all about. It's not a 100-meter dash. It's the ability to think and be able to harness resources to bring the best out of people. The job of CEO is to select his direct reports. And if I become president, I'm going to utilize people who are much younger than me, but not just because they're young, but they must have the right intellect, the right disposition, the right attitude, and the right latitude to be able to operate.
Thank you, sir. So I have to go very briefly on this. We're running out of time. Speaking of leadership, you know, it goes hand in hand with the team. And off air, we were talking about how important, well, I want you to discuss how important it is for technology to enter the political space and for the youth, and also for the role of women in, in Nigeria and her future.
Our major dream, our vision is to become a first world. And to be a first world, you must be globally competitive. In fact, you must be at the top end of the competition. And the only thing that can help you leverage competition now is technology. And luckily, we have very young people in Nigeria that have this innate and intuitive ability to adapt to technology. And they will bring it to support the nation. Our country must be technology savvy. We must be highly adaptable to technology. No new technology in fact, we should be in the frontier of developing technology, and that's the forte of the young people. That also will help the women, because there are disadvantages that you have by demographics or by sexual demarcation can be breached through technology. Look at what two of you are doing in this studio, and like several other females like you in other parts of the world, in industry. They are coming up because technology It's leveraging performance. It's enabling people see what you can produce, even if they didn't look at who was producing. Your result will show. And when they now unveil you, they find who you are. So it's not to characterize you first as a man or woman, but you are a bundle of talent, because that's what makes human capital. Human capital is what kind of talent do you have? What has been imbued in you, and what are you able to produce? And I think technology is what, if you look at the first thing we spoke here, we talk about knowledge. We think that Nigeria will be a knowledge-driven country. That's our first value. Everybody will go to school, and when he goes to school, he will learn two things. First, he'll learn how to solve problems, so he has to learn to think. The second, he will learn to create wealth. Before you leave school in your final year, you come out with your business plan.
Yeah, I would have loved to ask you more specifically about areas like insecurity, but we're out of time on this particular meeting, so hopefully you'll have opportunity to speak on it further in the future. Thank you.
I'm ready to come back at your invitation.
Thank you very much, Mazi Sam Ohuabunwa.